This is a physical environment. Okay, so the implementation of health and safety in the workplace. The Health and Safety at Work Act is the primary piece of legislation covering occupational health in Great Britain. The health and safety in the workplace protects employees because if an employee is providing an unsafe workplace and you get hurt and injured because of that unsafe working place, then legal action can be taken into place, which can lead to the college being fined or for a large amount of money. And it also protects people that are walking on the grounds, so they don't actually have to be in the college. They can be as long on the ground, they're protected. This means they don't even have to work there either. The reason why they need this to consider this is because if they have anything that is to fall off a roof or break or fall onto somebody at all, then it can lead to a person being injured and the college being fined. Workplace policies. Workplace policies are put into place in order training is carried out to the correct requirements for all staff. Workplace policies also state that all employers should know what to do when it comes to hazard risks and how to deal with them. Different employee roles require different training. By giving the employees the corrective coaching and training, all requirements should be met. Employees will be able to carry out their job in the correct manner without breaking any policies or law. This will keep the college and employee covered from any lawsuits, and different employees will have different job roles that need to be carried out. This means employees need to be aware of their job roles. Therefore, the corrective training needs to be put into place so all laws are covered. Reporting procedures. When it comes to reporting procedures of injury, diseases and dangerous occurrences regulations, it requires employers or in certain circumstances others who control or manage the premises to report the relevant enforcing authority and keep records of the the injuries or diseases. The records that must be kept are work-related deaths, work-related accidents which cause certain specified serious injuries to workers, certain dangerous occurrences such as near-miss accidents, injuries to a person who is not at work or such as a member of the public who are caused by an accident at work which resulted in the person being taken to hospital. Harmful work practices. A harmful work practice is another set of words used for unsafe working conditions. Some examples include poorly maintained equipment, bad lighting and dangerous stairways. A harmful practice words can be a real big problem in the workplace. This is because it can lead to a serious accident in which can cost the college a lot of money. When it comes to the responsibility is the first person who finds the harmful practice. This is because the problem needs to be dealt with, otherwise it can lead to a lawsuit. Harmful work practices have been put into place in order to protect all employees and the college and anyone that can walk through the college. This is so that no one gets injured or seriously hurt. In the worst case, someone could possibly die if the conditions are really bad and they haven't been dealt with straight away. So the working environment. All employees are entitled to work in a safe place, safe and controlled working environment. The primary responsibilities is down to the employer. Employers must make sure every employee knows all health and safety requirements and how to deal with them properly. All workers are entitled to a safe and controlled environment. The reason for this is so it reduces stress from not only the employees but the employees as well, as they will know that all employees are protected in the environment. The employer must make sure that all employees have a safe working environment. If they don't adhere to this, then it can really result in a lawsuit and can cost the college a lot of money and possibly the person who didn't report the incident their job loss as well. Evacuation assembly areas. Workplaces must have a plan when it comes to having an emergency. Special emergency procedures must also be provided if something seriously bad is to occur, such as an injury, explosion, flood, poisoning, electrocution or fire. College must consider what might happen and how will the alarm be raised if an evacuation needs to happen. College has to provide fire exits in the case of a fire emergency. This means that the correct signs must also be placed for all the students and employees to be able to see. And if a fire was to occur, all students have to evacuate the car park to the car park, in which a register will be taking place to ensure all students are safe. It is the teacher's responsibility to ensure that to make sure that all students leave the building safely. Site building works and off-site work. Site building works consist of work that is on the college campus, such as development on the building or expansion work. Off-site work is work that isn't on college campus, as work experience college trips. Site building works most of the time happen in the summer. This is so that it's all out of the way of employees and students. This reduces any risks of things falling off in students or employees if it was, as an example, during college times. Therefore reducing the risk. Both site and off-site must have risk assessments done in order to make sure that all employees are aware of any risks. Any risks must be written down, and the person who is doing the risk assessment must write down what to do in order to try and reduce the risk, and what to do if it does occur. By doing this and reducing the risk, college is less likely to cause any injuries or illnesses. Infestation. An infestation is when there is an invasion of insects on a place like a house or a business, or an attack by an insect on a plant. There are many forms of infestation. There is organic infestation, dampness and mold, and insect infestation. There are flea infestations, cockroach infestations, ants, wasps, bees, and fox infestations. These are all infestations that should be dealt with accordingly. Most of these, the employer or whoever finds the infestation first should tell the principal so they can contact the pest control. This will ensure that they're dealt with straight away. By doing so, reduces the risk of cross-contamination and food safety rules are being followed too. Dampness and mold. Dampness and mold comes from water, and the cold air getting into cracks, walls, ceilings, and flooring. Dampness and mold should be dealt with straight away. This is because it can affect the customers, employees, and the community's opinion of the college. Dampness can also cause damage to the college's structure, which can in turn lead to a lot of money being spent on fixing the college's structure. It can also affect the breathing of air, which can cause illness. Mold can also affect the food and safety procedures, which is a hazard for anybody if they happen to be eating at college. This is because if a customer was to see a member of staff working in an environment in which had a mold in the kitchen, it can cause illness, and which can lead to a serious case for the college, and it can affect the college's image and brand. Hygiene facilities. When it comes to hygiene facilities, there are 8 facilities which need to be regularly maintained and looked after. These need to be maintained to make sure they are fully functioning. The 8 facilities are toilet facilities, clothing and equipment, disabled facilities, shower facilities, personal cleanliness, physical environment, and reporting illness. These are all requirements in which the employer needs to make sure all employees are following. Otherwise, requirements are not being met, which breaks the health and safety law. This can cause the college to have a bad reputation and have an overall loss in income. The toilets should be regularly cleaned and maintained to a standard in which are good. Disabled facilities need to be easily accessible and possible. This is also so disabled people don't feel challenged and don't feel as though they don't want to come to college. This can give the college a good reputation if all these are adhered to correctly. Food preparation areas. For food preparation, the correct equipment must be used for the correct job. Clothing should be clean and gloves should be worn where necessary. White clothing should be worn when handling food so that stains and any grease are shown, so that if it is being shown you can change it and it's not seen as dirty within the college. This also reduces the chances of cross-contamination and food poisoning. The correct equipment such as chopping boards and knives are colour-coded. This also will reduce the risk of cross-contamination so customers can have a healthy experience. Noise and atmospheric pollution. Noise and atmospheric pollution is exposed to most workers. The control of noise regulation at work was put into place to reduce hearing damage and any problems in the future for people. Excessive hearing in the workplace can cause in the long term hearing damage. This can lead to employees having to wear hearing aids, or if it's too late they could possibly already be deaf or partially deaf. The noise regulation was put into place to protect employees from excessive hearing damage. This means that college must provide things like earmuffs in order to try and dull out as much excessive hearing as possible. Temperature and ventilation. For temperature and ventilation, a cooling system and ventilation system must be put into place in order to help employees to maintain a level of heating in which does not irritate them during the workplace period. They must be regularly maintained and cleaned. This is to ensure that employees can work without being irritated by being too cold or hot. Studies show that work efforts decrease if employees are too hot or too cold. Equipment. Equipment is regularly used when it comes to working. This is because it gives us a leverage when it comes to working and allows us to complete tasks quicker. However, if you're an employee or self-employed person and you provide equipment for use at work, or if you have control over equipment, the regulations will apply to you as well. And that states that the equipment must be suitable for use and is regularly maintained and inspected for use. Warning signs. For warning signs, the correct signs must be displayed for the correct area, problem or warning. If signs are not displayed, then serious problems could occur for the college, such as fines, or it could be even worse than that, and an employee can get injured. As an example, if a fire was to occur, like I mentioned earlier, then fire exits should be in place. Not only fire exit signs should be in place, not only above doors, but also in hallways and hanging from ceilings, so people know the direction to the fire exit. Finally, fire extinguishers. Fire extinguishers, they must be put into place, places in which are easily accessible for anyone who spots a fire. These must be regularly inspected at least 6 to 12 months. This is so that they do work correctly in the case of a fire. If a fire was to occur, then the fire alarm should be pulled straight away in order to alert others of fire. This is so everyone can evacuate the college safely before the fire spreads quickly. After this, the person who finds the fire has the responsibility of using the fire extinguisher to try and put out the fire. If they can't put it out in time before it gets too big, they should evacuate themselves to a safe place quickly. Then the fire extinguishers get inspected by the fire service. This is so they can replace it if needs be, and so that they are working correctly at all times. And that's it. Thank you.